What's poppin'? It's your girl Jazzy J. How y'all doing today? Welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, welcome. If not, what is up, buttercup? Today is Sunday, which means it's my segment that I love, manga and mukbang, where I talk about whatever webcomic I have read recently or not and eat some food. It's been a while, guys. I will say it's been like 2 weeks since I last posted a video. That was not on purpose. I've had a lot going on. I'm studying for stuff. I'm learning new things. I'm trying to get my life in order and whatnot. So I unintentionally went 2 weeks without posting videos. So we're gonna try to make up for that. And if I look very similar in the videos in the upcoming weeks, it's because I'm filming them all on one day in the same attire, back to back, and then I'm just editing them and just posting them. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, that's literally how it's gonna go down, okay? I think 2 weeks ago, what was it? I think I talked about Karina's Last Days. If you guys have not seen my video or you have not read the webcomic, go ahead and check that video out. I love Karina's Last Days. It really is a good webcomic. I know it's a webcomic that's still continuing, so by now they definitely have more chapters out. I will go ahead and link my video down in the description box below. That way you can check that out as well and you can see my opinions and what I think about it. Okay? For today's snack, I have cucumber salad. Apparently the way that I did it was Korean. I don't know how true that is or not. So, it tastes good though, so that's what matters. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so I did say last week that we talked, not last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we talked about Karina's Last Days. For today, we're going to be talking about, how do I want to say, this glorious mayhem of a webcomic called Be a Eunuch's Wife to Control the World. For those of you who do not know what a eunuch is, I hope you do, but it is a man who has been castrated. Okay? That is a eunuch. So when you say be a eunuch's wife to control the world, this is not happening in modern day society. People do not call the people eunuchs now. It's just not a thing. This genre, it felt okay. So when I did look up like the author's classification, I guess, of this webcomic, it did fall into the romance, fantasy, historical comic. When it says historical, a lot of the times webcomics aren't really historical. It's just more so that they're placed in a historical era, which is where this is taking place. It is in feudal Lord Asia. I do not know which country. I'm going to assume Korea. It's either Korea or China because the artist is Korean or Chinese 9 times out of 10. I know this is a webcomic. This is still ongoing, so it's not done just yet. I think it got up to I think it's close to 100 chapters now. It's definitely a longer webcomic, but it's a good read. It's a good read. So, quick background of the webcomic. After a betrayal that led to her death, the main character time traveled into the body of Siliang Mo, a young girl who had the same fate. She is subject to a myriad of hardships, one being forced to marry a very handsome eunuch. To spite everyone, she aims to be the most powerful woman in the world. Oh, I just found my note. It's over 200 chapters. Gotta love a good read, right? The story itself. Sorry, not the story. The art. The art itself. Very consistent. Very good. Very beautiful. I mean, I completely understand if an artist starts to lose their desire and lose their love for a particular webcomic when you get to over 200 chapters. Like, I 1000% understand, but the fact that this particular artist has stayed true to the whole thing. Now, I will say the art, all art is going to diminish slightly from the first few chapters, because when I tell you they put their foot into the first few chapters, I mean it. I mean it. Like, it is out the wazoo, but they do that to get you into the webcomic, and then they kind of, you know, be a little lackadaisical. And that's fine. But the art, impeccable. It's impeccable. I highly encourage you to read this. I know that I put all this stuff in the beginning, but trigger warning. There is SA, DV, domestic, abuse, manipulation, adult themes that leave very little to the imagination, violence, the R word. Hey, yeah, so if any of this stuff triggers you, don't read it. Don't read it. I mean, it's not as bad as another webcomic that I have been reading, but it can still be pretty harsh. It can still be pretty harsh, okay? Family dynamic. Honestly, I was thinking about trying to get into the story in general, but since it's over 200 chapters long, that's a lot. That's a lot to talk about, and I don't think that I have the mental capacity right now to go over 200 chapters worth of content. I just don't. So, I'm gonna let you guys go off and read that, but I'm gonna talk about the family dynamic that I have gotten to up to those 200 chapters, and pretty much the main characters in there, and why I love and or hate them. Let's start with Xiliang Mo's family. Her father, garbage, like straight trash. This man is more concerned on how to use his daughters to upgrade his social standing. So in the family, it's mom, dad, stepmom, 2 stepbrothers, 3 stepsisters, and Xiliang Mo. The father, he's more concerned with using all of the daughters and marrying them all off to some creepy, disgusting old man so that he can better himself in society. That's what he does. That's what he believes daughters are for. Filth. Absolute gutter garbage. Like, it. He is very abusive. He lays his hands on his wife and his stepwife. On his wife and his second wife and his daughters and his sons. Like, he physically, all of them. And I'm like, how does somebody like this get married? I don't understand. Why are these people still with him? I don't understand. He's not very intelligent. He is very much an idiot. Well, okay, so when I say an idiot, I don't want to say like because there's a difference between street smarts and book smarts. So I want to say he doesn't have a lot of street smarts, because if I remember correctly, he is actually a government official, so he has to have some amount of book smarts to be a government official. He can't just have money, you know, because if you have money but you have absolutely zero going on up here, there is no way that you're going to be able to get a good job, because you're literally just going to take the country down, which he already is, but you're really going to take the country down, okay? He's a schmoozer, and he's very greedy. This man is greedy. Like, he will take just about any and everyone's money. He will force his daughters to do things that daughters should not be doing in order to make a quick buck. Yeah. Enough about daddy. Let's go to mother. Awful. Awful. She's also an awful character. Now, I will say, the mom is... she is an R victim. So... okay, so I want to take back the awful part. I mean, well, she is awful, but a lot of awful things have happened to her to make her an awful individual. And here's essentially what happens with her. We go through the story knowing at the very beginning that Shi Liang Mo's birth mother rejected Shi Liang Mo since she was very young, all the way up until now. And when we first are introduced to her, it is literally Shi Liang Mo begging outside of her mother's quarters because her mother became a Buddhist, very religious woman who gave up all of her worldly desires. She rejected Shi Liang Mo. And here's the reason for it. Originally, we think that the father that I just talked about is Shi Liang Mo's birth father. That's not the case. Turns out later on in the story, we find out that Shi Liang Mo's mom, and I don't remember her name, is actually a princess of the empire, and she grew up alongside the emperor, the current emperor, when he was a little boy. She was a little bit older than him. And the emperor had a massive crush on the girl. Now, on the mom. So, young mom is essentially helping to raise the emperor in a sort of way. Like, they're not that much of an age gap. It's like a 10-year-old versus a 13-year-old. There's not that much of a gap difference, but you know, you always, for some reason, adults tend to trust 13-year-olds with 10-year-olds, and it's the most ridiculous and wild thing to me. But anyway, as they grow up, the mom is going to be married off to somebody else. The emperor doesn't like that, but the mom is like, well, I'm a princess, that's kind of my role, that's kind of what I have to do, and the guy that I'm marrying, he's really not that bad. I do kind of like him. I love you as like a little bro, but like it's just not gonna work. So what does the emperor do? He R-words her. Yeah, and she, by that one time, because again it only takes once, she gets pregnant with Shi Liang Mo. So Shi Liang Mo has absolutely no idea that she's actually the daughter of the emperor. Has no idea. When she meets the emperor later on in the story, the emperor is reminded of Shi Liang Mo's mother by seeing Shi Liang Mo, but he doesn't realize that that is his daughter. And Shi Liang Mo does a lot of things to gain recognition, to become her own entity, to become powerful on her own with her own means with the emperor. Not like sleeping with him or anything like that, but like she does things to increase her social standing and be a powerful figure. Her mom, again, had something terrible happen to her. However, if the fact that she didn't have enough compassion as a human being to let her daughter die outside of her her oh my gosh, her living quarters really speaks volumes, because it's like, yes, something very, very terrible happened to you, and I don't ever want to diminish that, but at the same time, you have brought another life into this world, and I know that this life reminds you of the person who horribly, horribly wronged you. However, as that person grows up, I think it'd be okay for you to just be able to look at them, maybe have a conversation with them, because again, it's terrible, I know that reminds you, but at the end of the day, she is your daughter. She is half of you. So it's a really weird, really tough situation. But I will say, I still stand by the fact that Shi Liang-mo's mother is pretty awful, because she, I don't want to say she let, but she didn't do anything when Shi Liang-mo was almost R-worded by her brother, and then didn't do anything when Shi Liang-mo ended her brother's life, and then her most trusted maid took the fall for that, not on purpose, but her most trusted maid ended up getting R-worded by a bunch of people to the point where she no longer here. And Shi Liang-mo went to her mom and was like, all these things are happening to me, please, I just need some help, I need something. And her mother's like, I have nothing to do with the worldly world, with worldly desires anymore, leave me alone. And slams the door in her face. I'm like, okay, so she's your daughter who also is going through a traumatic experience and literally slammed her head on a pole outside of the quarters because you couldn't be bothered to just talk to her? So yes, I don't like her mom. I don't like her mom. Stepmom. Awful, because they tried to, stepmom, okay, first of all, she tries to literally kill Shi Liang-mo multiple times. It's not just one time, multiple times she has tried to kill Shi Liang-mo, because why? Because she is the first daughter. She is the daughter of the original wife. So she's like, well, I want my babies to have a chance, so I'm gonna kill her off. I'm like, whoa, calm down. Like, oh my god. That's why. She only cares about her sons and daughters, which, don't get me wrong, I understand a mother being more concerned with her biological children than she is with an adopted child. However, if you're going to be married into another family, you should have some ounce of care for the child who's already in that family. And she's like, nah, not only do I not care about you, I'm gonna try to end your life. Which doesn't work too well, because Shi Liang-mo is able to thwart her at literally every single step. Oh, I totally forgot. So Shi Liang-mo is actually an individual who passed on in a previous life and was kind of not reincarnated, because it's not like a birth story. Her soul was literally dumped into the body of Shi Liang-mo after Shi Liang-mo, the original Shi Liang-mo, had just like ended it. She, in the end, when she can't physically kill her off herself, she does try to marry her off to another kingdom that is very, very cruel to their women, where all the women that are married into there are kind of like passed around to all the men in the community, and the women end up passing on because of everything that happens and goes down. It's terrible, it is awful, but that's what that society does, and Shi Liang-mo's stepmom tries to kick her off. It doesn't end up working. One of the sisters ends up going to that area because Shi Liang-mo is very savvy with her ways. Siblings. Again, I know that I talked about the 2 brothers and the 3 sisters. I don't know if she has any more. I'm pretty sure those are the only ones, but again, her father is absolute scum. So it might be very possible that she has other half-brothers and half-sisters out there somewhere, because daddy's been around. But Not only does a stepmom try to kill her, her sisters try to kill her, her brothers try to kill her, and one of the brothers tries to R-word her. And this brother, well, he ends up losing his life because Shi Liang-mo is like, nah, that's dead. There really isn't too much more about this. I mean, there's a lot more about the sisters, but in terms of like their personality, it's very much taking after mommy and daddy. They are all terrible, trashy individuals who are more concerned with their stepmom than they are with their sister and making sure that their sister, stays alive. Yeah. The last main character in there is the eunuch, and I have forgotten his name. This man is beautiful. I do not understand how he is a eunuch. They call him the 300-year-old eunuch. It's like a 300 or 3,000-year-old eunuch. I don't quite remember. All I know is that he is a very powerful figure who pretty much has a control over the emperor, because the emperor is just all sorts of effed up at the moment. The eunuch is the emperor's most trusted aide, most trusted confidant. The emperor follows the eunuch for literally anything and everything. The eunuch, I don't actually know if he's a eunuch. It's not been confirmed nor denied just yet if he is or is not. I don't think he is a eunuch. I really don't think he is. I don't know. Again, it hasn't been confirmed, but I just have a feeling that he's not actually a eunuch. He is very aggressive, very violent to other individuals. If he cares about you and he genuinely likes you, he's not gonna be violent or aggressive. In fact, he lets Shi Liang-mo get away with a lot of stuff. A lot of crap that if anybody else had tried it, he would have had them like in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, he would have had them just kick the bucket. So he is also very intelligent. He's a very intelligent man who is able to get a lot of things done. He has a lot of underlings. He has a lot of people that are backing him. And even if he didn't have a lot of people that were backing him, he is still a very powerful, prominent figure within the community, within the empire. Yeah, the empire. To the point where he is just as famous, if not more famous, than the emperor himself. Like, that's how powerful of a figure he is. Man is beautiful. Okay, he's... Come here, daddy. like, he's beautiful. Hey guys, so my camera died and it is now the evening time, which is why I probably look a lot darker than previously, and why my hair is done because I went to a networking event. Fun fact, I'm now a travel business owner. Yeah, so I now help with booking for travels and stuff like that. Yay! Anyway, so yeah, I deep conditioned my hair and I didn't detangle it or anything like that. I used Taraji P. Henson's line because beautiful, but I'm gonna be switching back to Natural Club because I love that as well, and did a greenhouse effect, so there is a shower cap under this and my winter hat so that it can do a steaming treatment for the whole night that I'm sleeping. But back to the story after my camera so rudely died. The eunuch does have a soft spot for Shi Liang-mo, and because of that, she tends to take advantage of that a lot. In fact, pretty much all the time. And the eunuch's underlings are pretty much like, so are you gonna put her in her place or something like that? Are you gonna discipline her? And he's like, she's pissing me off, but no, I don't, for some reason, I just don't want to hurt her. And I'm like, probably because you like her. Oh, that's the thing. He's just like, so I'm your daddy. And she's like, say what now? And he's like, yeah, I'm your father figure now, and I'm going to care for you like you're my own daughter, but at the same time, I'm sexually interested in you. And I'm like, whoa, oh boy. Oh God. I'm not sure how I feel about that, especially with the fact that I'm pretty sure he's like minimum 10 years older than her. So I'm like, so you want her to call you daddy literally and figuratively? You want to raise her, but then you want to make babies with her? It's a no from me. It's a no from me. It's a no from me. Wow. Yeah, so when I was starting to read all that, and it hits you hard, it hits you fast, and I'm like, what? Okay, this is the dynamic that we're going through the story. I don't know what the artist was tripping off of, but oh boy, you're for a ride today. So, yeah, those are the main characters: mom, stepmom, dad, technically stepdaddy. Then there's birth daddy, which is the emperor, the siblings, Mo, and the eunuch. Those are the main prominent characters. There are other side characters throughout the whole thing as well. The story, again, is very, very interesting. It is very funny, in my opinion, very dramatic. It's one of those things that will literally keep your attention and just, you'll be, was it enraptured? Is that the correct word? We'll go with it. Enraptured. If I made a new word, then I made up a new word, but I can't remember. My mind is going blank. Anyway, you'll be pretty much absorbed into the entire webcomic and the series. So I highly encourage reading it. I highly encourage you tell it to other people that you might know as well. Again, you can find this online, literally anywhere. If I remember correctly, I probably read this on, I know I read this on an app, like a webcomic app, but I don't remember which one it was on. I just remember that I was having the time of my life when I was reading it. So, that is all that I have for today. I know I finished things up pretty quickly, but if you like this, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button because I love to see the family grow. Turn on your bell notification so that you know when I post a new video. If you have read this webcomic and you like this webcomic, or you didn't like this webcomic, go ahead and drop that down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Or go ahead and drop down in the webcomics below what you would like me to do next. Any of that is fine. I believe I will probably be talking about a very traumatic webcomic next. So, that is it. Until next time. Bye.